Welcome back at WNST, Dallas, Baltimore, and Baltimore positive. The Maryland Crab Cake Tour is taking off again this week to the exit all the way. We're going to be in Eldersburg on Wednesday, Liberatores. We're going to be on Friday in Westminster, Rock Salt Grill, and then next Tuesday back at Costasin, where it all started in Dundalk, to end the tour with future Governor Wes Moore. Also going to be joined by Pam Wood from the Baltimore Banner, formerly the Baltimore Sun, covering the State House and elections, and Mickey Coachella, my dear friend from Hamilton. We're going to import him over to Dundalk to end the tour appropriately and probably blue if I know Mickey Coachella. Dennis Koulatsos joins us now from Coons Ford Security Boulevard, and he'll be here on Thursday from 3 until 5. One more of these ratty, awful preseason games, and watching Travis Jones on the carpet in the fourth quarter, and watching Falele, all 6'12" of them, falling down to the carpet. But we're getting somewhere. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, they'd say, right? And all I know is all John Harbaugh will do is win, 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 no matter what in August, right?
No, I like it. I like the culture he's built with his team, with the organization, and you have to love this rookie class, Nestor. I try not to get too high on Isaiah Likely, but man, oh man, 8 catches, 100 yards, touchdown, all in the first half. He looks very much the part of a first-round draft pick, Nestor. He really does.
Well, and this isn't unusual that someone flashes. If somebody's got to play in August, they win it all the time. Somebody's contributed to them winning. They win every week. And whether it's Bobby Rainey or whether it's Miles Boykin, it's Isaiah Likely right now. That whether in week 10 we look up and say, dude's got 61 catches and he's the next Mark Andrews. I don't know where there's only one ball in the offense. And I talked to Luke about this. So Likely's a good player. How much is he going to be on the field? Is he a 12 snap a guy, a 20 snap a week guy? I don't know, but I know he's done enough to make them maybe and Roman rethink weaponry and what they want to do here. They don't have the Gus Bus. The wide receivers are thin-ish, even though they made a signing last week. How often they're going to be 2 tight end, what they're doing with the fat backs, with Ricard, 3-time Pro Bowler. I heard that a few times. And Boyle coming back. They have all of these pieces. They're not traditional pieces. And we haven't seen Lamar out there at all, right? We're not going to see him this week, I don't think, right? So what we see on September 11th, I'm interested to see what that's going to look like.
Yeah, you and I both, but this rookie class is shaping up to be fantastic. Jordan Stout, the Penn State punter, man, oh man, boomed a 58-yard punt, had one inside the 5-yard line. The guy flips the field. He kicks off. He is as good, if not better, than advertised. This rookie class, Nestor, has a chance to be very, very special. You mentioned Travis Jones. My God, what a monster this guy is. Keep him off the field until game 1 against the Jets. Hopefully he'll be ready by then to come back.
Well, and injuries are the biggest thing. That's the thing. That's the reason nobody plays, and these things happen. Of the guys we see out on the field, I think it's very, very hard to figure what translates. The one thing we know, and Luke talks about this all the time because they keep winning, is that the second and third team, the coaching, the caliber of player, that's what really gets measured in 22 victories in a row in August, right?
Absolutely. Now, and everybody's back on a Tyler Huntley bus, right? The guy's, 29 of 32 or something like that. Just throwing the ball lights out. But again, people have to keep in mind he is going up against second, third string players as well as free agents. So it's hard to really gauge how far he's come since last year.
Trying to figure out this offensive line, and Luke is adamant that Powers is going to play left tackle or left guard, excuse me, that even though they're moving him around, that they're trying to organize this line at practice, not against live bullets. I mean, again, most of these players, the first time we're going to see them is going to be 1 o'clock, September 11th against the Jets. And then we're going to evaluate how the offensive line looks, how Lamar looks with 25 pounds of muscle back on his body, who's going to be the main receiver in all of this, Bateman and who? Is it going to be Prochet? Is it going to be Likely? Maybe lining up in some sort of Darren Waller kind of mismatch in that sort of way. And understanding their tight ends aren't here to block, right? Their tight ends are here to go get the football. But how many times are they going to throw the football? And we know Lamar loves tight ends. He likes throwing to Mark Andrews. I think he's going to like throwing to Isaiah Likely and has likely like that out in Owings Mills the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, more than likely he will. So here come the puns, right? They're right there for all of us to see. But like you, I'm concerned about that offensive line, right? What does that look like? And so far with Ronnie Stanley, it's been crickets. I've said all along, I'll believe it when I see it when he's back on the field. Not a knock on the player, but right now it looks like Jawan James, a left tackle for the Ravens.
Well, I mean, that's an easy observation to make at this point. Edwards not back now. Peters, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt this time of the year that he can play. It was nice seeing Nick Boyle out there running around again. Let's figure out whether he's going to be the 2000. We all measure 2019, right? We want Ronnie Stanley to be in 2019. We want Lamar Jackson to be in 2019. We want Nick Boyle to be in 2000. I don't think that's not likely to happen, quite frankly, right? Where are they going to be 2 weeks from now, and who are these players they have? And I think defensively as well, that Owa was running around out there late into the evening, later than I wanted him to be running around. They have to put some bodies out onto the field. But I'm also judging why John has guys playing out in Arizona in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Owa should have been out of there. Travis Jones, you can make that argument as well. All these players, you got to put them with a pitch count, get them off the field, get some other guys out there that have suited up and see what you have. But I think you mentioned it. The key is injuries to this team. How do all these pieces fit? Who comes back? What kind of shape are they going to be in? How far behind are they in their recovery? Right. So these are all the questions that need to be answered. You mentioned Nick Boyle. What Nick Boyle are we going to see this year? I mean, he's lost weight. He's got abs now. He looks better, but is that surgically repaired knee going to hold up on him?
Dennis Koulatsos is here. He will be there and here on Thursday from 3 until 5, driving you home at the Koulatsos Show. Is the way to follow him out on Twitter. I hit Luke, and I said, hey, we're going to have a lot of texts this week, right? We're going to have a lot of cuts. No. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah. They need to keep the roster as big as they can so they can play as many of these guys that aren't making the team as possible on Saturday night. So the cuts are going to wind up coming a little bit later in this thing. I don't even know how to evaluate the future of this, right? Like, how much longer is the NFL? They went from 4 to 3. They've condensed it down. It used to be first game, players would play a series. Second game, they play quarter. Third game, they'd play half. Fourth game, they wouldn't play at all. That was very, very standard for the first 20 years of the franchise, right? The last decade, everything's changed all over the place. The Rams have moved it in one direction. Obviously, Harbaugh's playing the new game of I'm not going to play any of the starters. I really do wonder how this preseason, if they really sat back and thought about the best way to do it. I'm talking monetization for their business, for the loss that they suffer every time they lose a quarterback, they lose players, millions, tens and tens of millions of dollars go down, that they can rethink August and make it better for the players, better for the league, because there's got to be something better than this.
No, that's a great point, Nestor. How long before they go to an 18 games schedule in the regular season? I think when they do that, you can certainly make the argument to cut off one more preseason game, get you down to 2. At this point, they should just have practices. They can go down to DC. They can go up to Philly and have some joint practices against other teams and see what they have. But we have Alabama, Texas kicking off the season in college football. There's no preseason for those cats, and they're not at the same level as the professionals, right? So these are college kids.
They get paid more.
But in years past they did. I don't know now that it's out of the bag. Now they can get paid, right? They went to the NFL and then took a pay cut. Some of those kids, but
right, because they got to pay taxes on it.
That's right. It's not under the table money, right? Wink, wink. But yeah, if they can do it in college, they can certainly do it in the NFL, and without much loss. I've said it for many years now. I wouldn't care if they kept my ticket prices the same, and just got rid of the preseason tickets. I don't go anywhere. I'll watch them on TV, but it's even a hard ticket to give away, Ness. But again, I'm paying $2,000 a year for my 2 seats. Okay, I'm not going to be upset if they say, Dennis, we're going to do away with the preseason games and keep your ticket pricing the same. I wouldn't care. They could even raise them slightly. I want the product. I want the brand to be better.
Well, speaking of product, I've had some great products over on the Eastern Shore, some great crab cakes, a local fresh. And I thought of you the other day. Have you ever been to Blackwater Refuge?
I have. I've been. I went there 2 years ago.
First time in your life?
First time in my life.
Okay, so tell me what took you there, and because I went for the second time in my life over the weekend, and we didn't even mean to go. We got an early start leaving Salisbury. We had to pick up the Angelina's crab cakes that they made me on Kent Island, and I had to be there at 1 o'clock. So I had a little time to kill. We went back in just to drive through, killed an hour, literally like going to Disney World for an hour looking for birds. First thing we saw were 4 bald eagles in a field.
Oh, wow.
Juveniles and one white-headed one with the giant yellow beak, taking off, flapping wings out of a field we were in. And I thought, we made a good decision going down here. But I went down into Blackwater near the visitor center, and there's a low-lying water area, and you look like you're on Gilligan's Island. Like you just look, it would flood it right out if there was a rain, but everybody's fishing. Everybody parked their car on the end. Everybody's fishing. They're crabbing, pulling crabs up in the middle of not 20 people fishing, and I didn't see anybody for 15 miles before I got there. And I thought, this is a spot Dennis needs to go and fish.
No, I went there 2 years ago. A friend of mine who's also a customer, he put me on Blackwater. Went there. Those people are fishing for snakehead, by the way. And that's what we're fishing for. That's what they're doing. They're fishing for snakehead in the shallows. So that was my first introduction to Blackwater. Like you, I saw some eagles when I was there. The ones whose heads haven't turned white yet, the juveniles, they're actually bigger than the mature adults. When the eagle leaves its nest, they get smaller as they age. So when they leave the nester, they are game ready. They're hunting already. That's what I love about eagles.
I didn't. That's a great fact, but I did notice that
the
brown one, the one that was like brown and spotted, was huge.
They're bigger. They actually shrink as they get older. Like we're supposed to. We're not supposed to get bigger as we get older. Like eagles, we're supposed to shrink, right? Carry less mass, be more mobile, and have less mass in our bones. Eagles are the same way. But when they leave that nest, man, that's a huge bird.
Yeah, well, it was beautiful down there. It's such a beautiful state, and the fishing part of it's so obvious, Dennis. When I'm driving over the Bill Burton fishing bridge, in Cambridge and all this stuff, I know you've been out there casting your rod into reservoirs. Where have you been fishing lately?
I've been fishing at reservoirs. Yeah, Block Raven, Liberty, Pretty Boy. That's the trifecta that I go to in August.
What do you catch in those?
Bass. I catch bass. But you know what? There's crappie, there's bluegill, there's pickerel. We catch all different types of fish, but we fish deep water for smallmouth and largemouth bass this time of the year. They're tougher to find because they go into the deep water to get away from the heat and the sun. So, and very few people fish for them there. Spring and fall are easy to catch because they're in the shallows, but this time of the year, that's when the real fishermen come out.
How do you learn all this? Did you read Bill Burton's column?
I was reading Bill Burton's column when I was a kid, and of course, I grew up on Loch Raven fishing. So, I try to be a student of the game too, and got to know what rod to use, reel to use, the thickness of the line, time of the year, water temperature. It's a science. It's a sweet science.
Well, I was supposed to go out with Sammy Tudor last week, snakehead fishing in Vienna. I drove in on Tuesday to Salisbury to Mogan's Oyster House, where I sat with Mayor Jake Day, had Delegate Carl Anderton on. I told Delegate Carl Anderton my Steve Bisciotti, Jim Irsay, Biltmore story. Do you know that one where we talked about the records? Have I told you that one?
Yep.
Yeah, I told that story maybe one of the first times on the air on Tuesday, and I'm there and I'm getting ready to fish. I had everything to get. I even had my suntan lotion, had my Baltimore Positive hat, and Sammy got COVID. He texted me. He said, I got COVID. And I'm like, I ain't fishing with COVID guys. We'll do this other time. So I'm supposed to go crabbing on Saturday this week with Tony Conrad from Conrad Seafood.
Oh, nice.
Conrad Crabs. So I'm supposed to go out of Bowley's Quarter on Saturday morning. So, follow social media. I may have some pictures up there of me doing, harm to myself, but not the crab. I usually harming the crabs. Oh. This is their one chance I'm going out into their area. I'm a little concerned,
You're going to have a lot of fun crabbing, Nestor. Have you ever done it before?
I've crabbed with like at Bear Creek, and
gotcha.
I've crabbed with the single pots with the chicken neck.
Gotcha.
I've crabbed off of piers with string and the net, old school. When I was a kid, right. I haven't pulled a crab out of the water. I honestly, since I hit puberty. I mean, I think when I did the last time, I was probably 12, 13 years old, probably 1981, 82, 83 in that range. I have not pulled a crab other than over at the barn out of a bushel from Jimmy and Joey 30 years ago. Every other crab I've had has been on a table, I'd say.
Well, I'm sure Tony's going to have a nice setup for you. Maybe have that line where they're just coming in one right after the other. He's
commercial crabbing, so he's
commercial crabbing, yeah.
Different. It's going to be totally different.
A different experience for a friend of mine. Took me about 2 weeks ago, commercial crabbing, and again, these crabs are just coming out of the water one at a time. They're holding on to chicken necks or chicken livers, so it's actually going to be a very good experience for you.
I can't wait. You're
gonna be like Lucille Ball with the bonbons,
right, with the chocolates, right? with my gloves on, right?
With your gloves. Yep. You
I
got
told
it.
Tony, as long as I can have 6 of them to take home, throw them together. I
You're
went
gonna have
to a
more than
crab
6.
feast. This is how spoiled I am. Having such great crabs at Costas, at Fadley's, at Conrad's, the places I get crabs from my sponsors, right? So I went to the crab feast, and I've had crab cakes all over the state, and they're all delicious. They're all different. But crabs themselves and the science of getting them, I went to a crab feast, and it was the Mako Crab Feast. And I was talking to Claire Shockley from Crabs to Go. I had a crab cake there, and she knows a lot about. She worked for Cisco. She knows a lot about the crabbing industry. She talked about crab feasts and where the crabs come from, and a little different than the heavier, $150 a dozen ones or whatever. But I went to Crab Feast, and some of them were really soft, and I hadn't had a crab that like weighed nothing in a long time, and I thought there'd be nothing in the crabs that were light. I got plenty of meat out of the light. I haven't had a
Really?
light crab in a long, long time. But going to a feast, there were small ones, big ones, light ones, heavy ones, and they were all delicious. So I've become Gucci with crabs. Like kind of like you with
Oh,
automobiles. You only have the best, right?
me too. I gotta get jumbos. The bigger the better. I like getting filled up on 6 to 8 crabs versus 20 little ones.
I had about a half dozen little ones the other day, and there was a point where I'm like, what I'm getting ain't worth what I'm giving.
No. You want that lump coming out of there. You don't want to sit there and pick 20 crabs for a quarter pound of meat.
Well, I did see
I don't.
Democrats and Republicans getting along and laughing together. It was a complete sort of get together. So that heartened me after all of this polarization that's going on to be at a crab feast with Maryland people kind of coming together and being nice to each other and rolling their sleeves up and passing the corn on the cob and the watermelon. So it was perfect for me.
Hey, good stuff. That's what food does. It brings us all together, all Marylanders.
I got you a gold watermelon.
No,
Every
I'm
August
ready.
it happens, you and me.
I'm
Got a
ready
big
for
juice
one.
one. So the farmer taught me the secret. I said to him, I'm tapping on it. He comes up to me. He's like, you look like a city guy tapping a watermelon. You don't tap it. He's like, what you need to do is you need to see where it's been laying
Right.
and that it has a bruise, that white, dirty looking bruise. He said that means it's been sitting there a long time. That's going to show you that it's settled a little bit. You don't tap on a watermelon. So
No.
I'm
So is
listening.
it a white bruise or yellow bruise? What are we looking for here?
You're looking for it to look like it had settled in the patch.
Settled. So if
You
you don't
don't
see
want
a
a
bruise,
he said you don't want it perfectly green
Right.
all over. That means it's not ripe. It was picked before it was ripe. You
Got it.
want it to have a little bit of that look like
little
something
age.
that right. We all want a perfect tomato. We all want a perfect peach. We all want. He said if it's perfect looking on the outside, it's not a great watermelon. That was his honest God truth.
See, I'm always squeezing fruit at the market because to me, I hate hard peaches. I like ready to eat peaches, and so I'm always squeezing my fruit.
Get patience, bro. Get a little. Do what my mom did. You buy 6 and you put them in. Do it. It's a wise market. You put a little paper bag.
That's my spot.
You put them in a bag, and 2 days later,
I buy them in stages. I buy the right now, and then for later.
I do that with bananas. I get a green, a yellow, and then a yellow and black. Is what I try to do.
At my age, I don't buy green bananas anymore. That's one thing. All my bananas are ready to eat.
Listen, you better be here Thursday. You're doing radio.
One day at a time.
He'll be here Thursday from 3 to 5.
One day at a time.
Again on Sunday morning, and 2 more fake football reports. And next thing you know, Dennis will be all greased up after Labor Day. We got Jets, we got Dolphins, we got Patriots, we got things happening out of the gate against the AFC East. Almost reminds me of the old Colt days, right? A little AFC East, right?
Little AFC East action. Can't wait for the real stuff to happen. And I'm hoping, I'm holding out hope for Joe Flacco to be starting against the Ravens. I think it'll be a great story. Fantastic story.
I think it's going to happen, and I hope he appoints himself well. We like Joe around here.
Yep, I hope he plays well, and I hope the Ravens win.
Well, you can wager on that legally in the state of Maryland now. So, all of that's going on all around the place. Dennis will be here on Thursday talking about all the good stuff. Luke will be joining him. I will be around as well as we get ready for football season, the last fake football game. A few crab cakes ahead on the Maryland Crab Cake Tour presented by the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with our friends at Goodwill and Window Nation and the Restaurant Association of Maryland. Reminding you, Restaurant Week is September 16th to the 25th. Get out and do what I've been doing all month. Get fat, get local, support local, do what Dennis did. Go over to State Fair and get some chicken and waffles, right, Den?
You got it. It was delicious, and that was based on your recommendation. I
Get the
appreciate it.
raspberry sauce on that.
Oh my God, little bite to the raspberry
Just
sauce.
a
I liked it.
little bit of spice, but
Oh,
it's
it was great.
perfect. And it'll
It
sweet and
was
sweet and
perfect.
spicy, just like my program. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We never stop talking Baltimore. Positive.